Hi guys, today we are going to be talking about 3D vocabulary, and we're going to be learning a lot of new equations. I'm going to apologize in advance. This is a pretty long video, or it's going to be a pretty long video. But if you need to break it down, watch a little bit every day, whatever you need to do. We are going to be learning about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish new formulas. Alright, so let's get started. So volume is three-dimensional figures. So this right here is a rectangular prism. Rectangular prisms have two rectangles as the base, and then laterally, that means like around, they have also rectangles. So with rectangular prisms, they're a little bit special because technically they have, depending on which way they're sitting, they could have different bases. Rectangular prisms, the only ones that like that. In geometry, typically, whatever one is on the ground, on the bottom, that's going to be our base for rectangular prisms. So I'll talk about how that looks different in a minute. But some vocabulary words you need to know is the one on the bottom and the top for a rectangular prism is going to be our base. Okay. The vertex or vertices are the little corners. And then around the bases, or the things that connect the two bases, because there's a base here and there's a base down there, is your lateral faces. And a base is a face, but it's also a base. And then a lateral edge is that. Okay? So prisms always have two bases. And their lateral faces depends on what type of bases those are. So because this base is a rectangle, or this might be a square, we don't know. It's a quadrilateral, right? So there are 4 sides. So that means there are always going to be 4 lateral faces for a rectangular or square prism. Now this is a triangular prism. Now notice the bottom, what it's sitting on is a rectangle. That doesn't mean it's a rectangular prism. We have 2 triangles. So that means the triangles are our bases. Whatever you have 2 of is your base. Now remember before I said prisms, rectangular, they're just a little bit special because there's a bunch of different rectangles. But so this is, my base here is going to be a triangle. Oh, that's not where the base, there. This one's pointing to a couple different things, so it's a little confusing. My base here is the triangle because there are 2 triangles. My lateral faces are the rectangles. Your lateral faces will always be rectangles. And this time, because it's a triangle, there are 3 of them, because a triangle has 3 sides. Now again, remember your vertex is the corner. There's the corner. And then the lateral edge is what connects all your lateral faces. Okay? This, what is my base here? My bases here are hexagons because I have 2 of them. So my bases here are the hexagons. And then connecting the hexagons, again, do you see the rectangles? I know it's a little bit confusing because I'm writing over it. But your base is the hexagon. So your faces are these rectangles. I'm trying to, yeah, I think that's pointing to the rectangle there, not the base. Again, your vertex is the little corners, and then the edge connects the bases. Your edge, so that is technically the height of your prism. So from here to here, if I were to turn this, I know I can't physically do that right now, but if I were to turn this hexagon and put it on the base, the height of the prism is actually your lateral edge. Okay? So here are, so we're going to be talking about volume and surface area in this. There are 2 different types of surface area for prisms. We're going to be talking about lateral surface area and total surface area. So if I have, I'm going to do a cylinder right now. If I have a cylinder, we'll pretend that looks like a cylinder. Your lateral is around, or let's say I even, oh man, I'm horrible at drawing. Let's see. Okay, there we go. For a prism, your lateral is around. Your total surface area is around and the bases. Around and the bases. So that's going to be the difference. We're going to do some formulas in just a second. It'll make a lot more sense. So here are your two formulas. This is for both prisms and cylinders. Lateral area, or we might say lateral surface area. I might say that just to shorten it. That means lateral surface area is pH. Now, P, what do you think P stands for? Perimeter of the base. P stands for perimeter of the base. And then little h stands for height of the prism. Not your base, but your height of your prism. Sorry, my handwriting's so ugly. Okay, so pH, perimeter of the base, height of the prism. Now your surface area, I might sometimes call it SA, or I might add in total. If I don't say total, I mean total surface area. If I don't specify lateral, it's going to be total. So this is still pH. It's still your lateral surface area. Oops, let me add that S in. It's still your lateral surface area plus your two bases. So big B stands for area of your base. Are we confused yet? Hopefully not. I'm going to do some examples to hopefully help us out. So total surface area is taking your lateral surface area and then adding the two bases. But you have to do the area of those bases. So we're going to do 3 examples. Okay. So the first one is a rectangular prism. And again, with rectangular prisms, the one that's on the bottom is what I'm going to say is the base. Okay. So that's going to be our B. So it says, use the formulas to find the lateral area and total. So if it doesn't say anything, it means total surface area of each prism. Okay. So let's do that. The lateral surface area formula is pH. My perimeter of my base, remember this is my base right here. So the perimeter means adding all the sides. 10 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5 is 30. The H is the height of the prism. Remember, that's connecting the two bases. So how high up is the prism? It's 4. So what is 30 times 4? It is 120. And then don't forget your units. We're talking about area, so it's squared. Now your total surface area, let's do a different color for this. Your total surface area is your lateral surface area plus 2b. Well, I already know the lateral surface area is 120 plus 2. Now I got to find my big B, my area of the base. How do we find the area of this? Length times width. What's 10 times 5? 50. So add that together, 120 plus 2 times 50. That's going to give us 220. It's still area. So feet squared. And that's it. If you were to turn this and maybe do like this as the base, you're still going to get the same answer. You just use a different base, but you'll still get the same answer. You can try it out if you want. All right, and we can just check and make sure we got it right. Yay. All right. So next one is going to be this. What type of prism is this one? It's a triangular because we have 2 triangles. So to find lateral surface area, we got to do pH. So my perimeter of this triangle, it's 4, it's 5. What's this side right here? Well, it tells us right there. It's super nice. They didn't have to tell us that because we should know 3, 4, 5 triangles. So what's 3 plus 4 plus 5? I believe it's 12. And then the height of the prism. So remember, what is the distance between the two bases? It's 8. So what is 12 times 8? Your lateral surface area is 96 inches squared. Don't forget your units. Now we got to do total surface area. Now remember, total surface area is all of this plus the two bases. So it's your lateral surface area plus your two bases. My lateral surface area is 96. How do you find the area of this base? Well, the base is a triangle, so that's going to be 1/2. What's my base of this triangle? So this is where it kind of gets a little bit confusing. Forget we have a prism here. You have this triangle. What is the base of this triangle? It's actually 3. Even though the 5 is on the bottom, if you were sitting this triangle right, it would be 3. What's the height of the triangle? It would be 4. So what's 1/2 of 3 times 4? It is 6. So 96 plus 2 times 6 is 12. That should give us 108 inches squared. And let me make sure I got that right. Yay. They forgot their units. They're wrong. All right. So we got those correct. Now let's do this last one because, it's a little bit scary. I'm going to be honest. All right. For this last one, this is and it's a regular octagon. It's an octagonal prism. So I'm still going to do my same steps. I'm still going to do my lateral surface. Ooh, that was not what I wanted to do. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Okay. Lateral surface area is still pH. Now remember, P is perimeter of the base. So my base, it's saying this is 5. If it's an octagon, what's going to be the perimeter of that octagon? It's going to be 80. Because 5 times, oh wow, sorry. It's going to be 40. 5 times 8 is 40. Does that make sense? All right, now the height of the octagon is the distance between the two bases, so that's going to be 22. And I believe that's going to make my lateral surface area 880 centimeters squared. Okay. Now I need to do my total surface area. Total surface area is my lateral surface area plus 2b. So it's going to be 880 plus 2 times my area of my base. Okay, here's where we're about to get complicated. How do I find the area of this base? It's an octagon. What's my formula? 1/2 AP. Now, if you didn't watch those videos on regular polygons, they're not going away. It's going to keep coming up. So, I'm going to do 1/2. I have to find the apothem. Okay, I'm going to do a different color here. So, technically there exists a triangle right here. Wow, that was an ugly triangle. So, do you agree since the whole side is 5, that's going to make this 2.5? And so, this angle right here, remember, I'm going to do 360 divided by 8, which is going to give me 45. So 45 divided by 2, which means this little angle right here is 22.5. I need to find the apothem. Okay? So, I'm going to have to do trig. I have opposite, I have adjacent. What's that going to give me? Tangent of 22.5 equals opposite over adjacent. A is on the bottom, so I'm going to have to switch. Make sure your calculator is in degrees. That's supposed to say tan. Alright, so I'm going to put my calculator in degrees and then do, I wish I had the calculator to show y'all what I'm doing, but it's going to be 2.5 divided by, oh, you know what? I do. There you go. Okay. 2.5 divided by tan of 22.5 And that's going to give me 6.036 rounding it. Okay. So I'm going to get, my A is going to be 6.036. Now, to make sure I get an accurate, oh my gosh. Okay. To make it, and then the perimeter, sorry, hold on. The perimeter is, what did we say the perimeter of this base was? 40. Okay. To make sure I get an accurate thing, I'm actually just going to put that all right here. So, hold on one second. Let me move it over because it's kind of going to come off. Okay. Go back to red. I'm just going to rewrite that. 2 times 1/2 that A, and then 40. And I'm going to type all of this in the calculator exactly like I see it to get my total surface area. So watch how that's going to look. Let me get my desk organized. Sorry. Working from home is interesting. All right. So it's going to look like this. Okay. Where are we? Oh, there we go. It'll be 880 plus 2 times 1/2 times, I'm going to arrow up to copy that, times 40. And there is my total surface area. Now, some of you are probably wondering, well, Miss Olivares, how come it's only one number? Oh, because it did not copy right. What happened here? Because I'm wondering. It didn't copy the 6. Why didn't it copy the 6? Okay, let's see. Second insert. That's weird. Okay, there we go. I was like, I don't understand. All right, perfect. I don't know why it just didn't copy the 6, but there we go. So that is going to be my total surface area. Ignore that one. It didn't copy the right number. There we go. Okay. So 1,121.421. So let's write that in. 1121.421. And then it's going to be centimeters squared. Okay. Let's see if we did that right. There we go. Whew, that last one was a lot. I will expect y'all to only see that once or twice. So now we're going to do the same thing for cylinders. I'm only going to go over one of these. I'll probably do number 15 just to make it quick. But it's going to be the same thing. So for lateral surface area, let's do black. For lateral surface area, it's still pH. However, cylinders have a different P. How do you find the perimeter of a circle? It's really circumference. And remember, circumference is 2 pi r. So it's going to be 2 pi, what's my radius? 8, times, what's the height of this cylinder? 20. So when you type this in the calculator, don't type in the pi. You're going to do 2, 8 times 20. Oops, I forgot. So that's 320. And then you're just going to say lateral surface area is 320 pi. And then centimeters squared. Okay. Now for total surface area, it's still lateral surface area plus 2b. So my lateral surface area is 320 pi plus 2. Now I got to find the area of this base. How do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. So it's going to be pi 8 squared. Well, what is 8 squared? 64 pi. So again, I'm going to type this in without the pi's. So it's going to be 320 plus 2 times 64. So that's going to give me 448. And I can do that because they both have pi. If they both didn't have pi, then I wouldn't have been able to do that. But since they both have pi, I'm good. Okay. All right, now we're going to talk about volume. So for volume, oh, it doesn't even give you the formula. My bad. Volume of cylinders is prism, is big BH. So to find volume, what does the big B stand for again? It's the area of the base. And what does H stand for? Height of the base. Okay. So we'll do 2 of these. We're not going to do number 8. We'll do 2 of them, and then we will do some cylinders. So for this one, remember my base is going to be, it's a rectangular prism. What's on bottom? So V equals big BH. My area of this base, to find the area of a rectangle, is length times width, so it's going to be 30. 3 times 10. And my height of the prism is 6. So what is 30 times 6? 180 meters. Now it's volume, so it's cubed, because you're multiplying 3 things, length, width, height. For this one, ooh, this one's a little bit more challenging. It's a triangular prism, so volume is still big BH. To find the area of the base, it's going to be, it's a triangle, so 1/2 base times height. You could also use Huron's formula we learned before, but I'm going to do this. This is an equilateral triangle. Because it's an equilateral triangle, what type of problem does that make this? It makes it a 30, 60, 90. Because remember that's 60 right here, that's 90, and that's 30. So if the whole thing is 6, half of it's 3. Remember, we don't go around the 30. How do I find the long leg? 3 square roots of 3. Because we times by the square root of 3. It's not going away, y'all. So I still got to find big B. So my big B is going to be 1/2. What's my base of my triangle? It's not 3, that's only half of it. My base of my triangle is 6. What's my height of my triangle? We said 3 square roots of 3. And now we got to do this H. This H is the height of the prism. What's the height of the prism? 18. I know that can get confusing because we have an H here and an H here. You have to be able to decipher which H means what. Now I'm going to put all this in the calculator without the 3. I mean the square root of 3. Okay? Because they're all multiplying. I can treat it like pi and just add it on at the end. So 1/2, I'm going to do 1/2 times 6 times 3 times, I think it was 18. Let me check it real quick. Yep. 1/2, 6, 3, 18. So that is going to give me 162. So my volume is 162 square roots of 3 centimeters. Again, it's a volume, so it's cubed. Cylinders, same formula. I'll just do one of these. Volume equals area of the base times height. Actually, no, I'll do both of them. So, for my volume, my area of the base, how do we find the area of this base here? Area of the base is pi r squared. So pi, what's my r? 6 squared. What's 6 squared? 36 pi. And then h is height of the cylinder. How high is my cylinder? 8. So again, it says actually leave it in terms of pi and to the nearest tenth. So I'll do both. First I'm going to do it without. So 36 times 8. That's going to be 288 pi. And it's inches cubed because it's volume. And then to find the rounded, you would just actually do 288. The pi symbol is right here under clear, but you have to hit second pi. So it's 904.779. Oh no, it said rounded the tenth. So 904.8. Okay. Oh, what was it? Sorry, 904.8 inches cubed. Okay. For this one, it's kind of similar, except volume equals big BH. It tells us the volume. Do I know the area of the base? Well, if it's 9 centimeters is the radius, remember big B is pi r squared, so it's going to be pi 9 squared, which will give me 81 pi for my big B. And then I don't know h, it's leaving h there by itself. So how would I get h by itself right here? What am I going to do to get rid of this 81 pi? I'm going to divide by 81 pi. Those cancel. Those cancel. So h is just going to equal, what is 234 divided by, oh wow. It gives me a fraction, which is 26/9. I believe. Let's make sure that's what I got. Yep, there you go. So the height would be 26/9 centimeters. All right, I know that was long. I apologize. But now we're going to go on to pyramids and cones. So pyramids, you have seen this. If anybody's been there, that'd be cool. That's on the bucket list. But pyramids have only one base. All pyramids have only one base. How many bases would any pyramid have? Oops, I just answered that question. 1. What is the shape of the base of this pyramid? This is going to be, for pyramids in geometry, they're always going to be regular, okay? I am not going to give you a rectangular pyramid because that just makes things a little bit iffy. So anytime I give you a shape and it's a pyramid, I want you to assume, I know we're not allowed to assume, but I'm telling you right now, conclude, if it's a pyramid, it's regular. So what is a regular quadrilateral called? A square. Okay? I am not going to give you any non-regular pyramids. So it could be an equilateral triangle, and I could give you a regular hexagon, pentagon, octagon, any of those. Okay? So some things you need to know about a pyramid are a pyramid has a height, which this is called the apex, I believe is what it's called. It's the top. To the center of the base, that is called the height. And then this, we call it L, is the slant height, which is the apex to the midpoint of a side. So I always think of the slant height as if you were to slide down the pyramid. You don't want to slide down this pointy side because that would kind of hurt your rear end. So we always want to slide down the middle. All right? So that's called the slant height. It's the apex all the way to the midpoint of the base. And then what would this be called right here? Anybody remember? That's actually your apothem. Oh my gosh, look what it forms. It forms a right side. So that's that. Let's see what it says under this. I don't remember. Oh, what will be longer, the height or the slant height? Well, remember the hypotenuse is the longest side, so the slant height should always be longer than the height. Cones. A cone is a pyramid, but circular base. So a circle is the base of a cone. There's only one base. And then same thing. Here's my apex. The height is from the apex to the center of the circle. The slant height is actually all around the cone because it's going to be the same because it's a circle. So your slant height is just if you were to slide down the cone. Okay? And the radius is right here. So here are the 3 formulas for cones. We just learned 3 formulas for prisms and cylinders. Now it's 3 formulas for cones and pyramids. So the P still stands for perimeter of the base. The L stands for slant height. So it's 1/2 PL for your lateral. Now remember, lateral is around just this, not including the base. Okay? Lateral for a pyramid would be these triangles, not including the base. Oops. And then your surface area, or total surface area, is going to be 1/2 PL. It's going to be your lateral surface area. Plus, instead of 2B, it's just 1B. Why 1B? Because there's only one base. And so, again, B means area of the base. And then the volume is 1/3 of base times height. The volume of prisms and cones are 1/3 of that no, I said that wrong. The volume of pyramids and cones are 1/3 of that of cylinders and prisms. Okay? So, this is a pyramid. Now again, pyramids we automatically conclude in this class it's only going to be regular. So all of these are 10. Okay? So what would be my perimeter of the base? 40. And do I have labels? M, 40 meters. Okay, this right here means L. What would be my slant height? I actually was super nice and gave you the slant height of 12 meters. What would be my big B, my area of the base? Area of the base is 10 times 10, which is 100. And since it's area, it's meters squared. Now, my height is where we get interesting. How do I find the height? Remember, that's the apex to the center. So I want to know what that is. I have a triangle here, so I'm going to do this off to the side. So I want to know the height. I know that the slant height is 12. Do I know what this is right here? Well, since it's a square and it's in the center, wouldn't that be half of that side? So it's going to be 5. And if we have 5 and we have 12, how do I find the height? I'm going to do Pythagorean theorem. 12 squared equals 5 squared plus h squared minus 25. 12 squared is 144 minus 25 gives me 119. And I have to square root. So my height is the square root of 119 meters. Okay. My lateral surface area, I'm going to add an S here because I like that. Lateral surface area, remember the formula for that was 1/2 PL. So I'm going to do 1/2. What was my perimeter of the base? 40. What was my slant height? 12. And that's going to give me 240. It's area, so meters squared. I think I did that right. Yep, 240. Now total surface area is lateral surface area plus your area of the base. So my lateral surface area was 240. Plus we know the area of the base right here we found out was 100. So 340 meters squared. Last but not least, volume is going to be 1/3 big VH. So 1/3 area of the base was 100. The height of the pyramid was the square root of 119. And for the sake of this would be really ugly if I left it, I'm going to actually just put all that in the calculator. So I'm going to put 1/3 times 100 times the square root of 119 and 363.623. 363.623. And it's volume, so it's meters cubed. Okay. Now let's do a cone. This should be a little bit easier. Hopefully we're catching on. For P, perimeter of the base of a cone, that's the same thing as circumference, which is 2 pi r. So 2 pi, what's my radius, is 7. So 14 pi. And there's no units, so that's my answer for perimeter. Remember, this is an L. So my slant height, is this right here. I'm going to have to find that out by doing Pythagorean theorem. And some of you may already know the answer to this because it's one of the special ones we learned. But my slant height is going to be 24 squared plus 7 squared. That gives me 625 square rooted. Oops, that's supposed to be L squared. Square rooted, that gives me 25. So I just did Pythagorean theorem to find that out. My area of the base, remember to find area of a circle, it's pi r squared. So pi 7 squared gives me 49 pi. And my height, remember, is the apex to the center. It actually gives me it. It was nice. So now I got to find lateral surface area. It's the same formula as pyramids. So it's going to be 1/2 PL. So 1/2, my perimeter was 14 pi. My L is 25. So what is 1/2 times 14 times 25? That gives me 175 pi. And if you want to get used to doing your units, you could always just write U squared. That just means units squared, even if there's no units. That way you can train your brain to keep remembering. All right, for total surface area, we are going to do lateral surface area plus one base, because there's only one base. So 175 pi plus the area of that one base we said was 49 pi. Since they both have pi's, I can just add them together. 175, oh, I just wrote 145. 175 plus 49 is 224 pi units squared because it's still area. You don't have to put the U squared, I'm just adding it in. And last but not least, if I wanted to find volume, volume is 1/3 big BH. So 1/3, what was my area of the base? It was 49 pi. What was my height? It was 24. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 1/3 times, I already forgot, 49 times 24. Gives me 392, and then don't forget your pi. Units, and it would be cubed because it's volume. So cones are a little bit easier, they're a little bit quicker. All right, how long have we been doing this? Let's see, 44 minutes. Oh my goodness, okay. So that is cones and pyramids. I'm going to skip these just because we've been doing it so long. But if it's a hexagon, it's the same thing. You're just going to have to figure out the height and the slant height by doing Pythagorean theorem or your 30, 60, 90 rules. Same things though. I mean, it's the same thing. Y'all can figure these out. All right. Last thing we're going to go over is surface area and volume of spheres. You're going to like these compared to the complexity of the other ones. Surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. There's no lateral surface area, so that's just it. Volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. And that's it. And you just plug in. So as long as you have r, you pretty much have everything you need to know. So, find the surface area of this sphere. Leave it in terms of pi. Well, surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So, 4 pi, what's my r? Be careful. That's my diameter. My radius would be 4 squared. Put that in the calculator, and you would get 64 pi meters, and its area, so squared. That's it. You're done. Let's do another. Find the volume of a sphere with a diameter. So to draw a sphere, you're going to draw a circle, and then just do little dots going up, little dots going down. The diameter is 60, so if the whole thing is 60, what's going to be my radius? 30. give your answer two ways. So I want volume this time. So volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 pi, what's my radius? 30 cubed. And I'm going to do it both ways. So I'm going to do alpha y equals 4/3. I'm going to leave the pi alone. 30. And then to do cubed, you're going to do the caret cubed. So that's going to be 36,000 pi. And inches cubed because it's volume. And then if it wanted it another way, you would just copy that up there and then add a pi at the end by doing second caret. And then, oh gosh, 113097.3. It said round to the cubic inch, so we just leave it like that. Now, I'm not going to do that one. The only other way you might see this get a little bit more complex is if I do something like this. A sphere has a total surface area of this. Find the volume. Find the radius and the volume. So if I know my surface area is 4 pi r squared, so if the surface area is this, can you find the radius? I can divide by 4 pi. That's going to leave me r squared equals, those cancel out. What's 400 divided by 4? 100. How do I get r by itself? My radius is 10. What if I ask you for the volume though? Well, volume is, oops, I almost did pyramid. 4/3 pi r cubed. So that would be 4/3 pi 10 cubed. And then you can just put that in the calculator. 4/3, we're not going to put the 10 cubed. And math, enter, it won't do it. So for some reason it acts really, really weird like this, but we'll just leave it like, does it tell you how to do it? Nope, it doesn't tell you. So we'll just leave it. Actually, we'll put the pi with it. Times pi. 4,188.790. And this is no units, so I'm just going to do units cubed. So you don't usually put a pi with a decimal together. So I think that is all. We're not going to worry about that right now. So I hope that helped. If you need to go rewatch a certain part because you were confused about one of the sections, feel free to do that. I will add in my notes what starts where so y'all can skip around. All right, thank you guys. I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Miss you.